To my dear friend who lives in the world beside mine, I am writing to you tonight. I want to tell you something simple and honest before I tell you anything strange. I buy and sell memories for a living, and I am careful with the truth. I am typing in a small office with a dim lamp and a quiet clock. The screen glows and the keys click, and I think of you while I work. I think you will understand me even if my work sounds unusual at first. In my city, people treat memories the way you treat property and tools. We list them, we price them, we insure them, and sometimes we rescue them. I know that sounds cold, but please stay with me, and let me show you the human part. When a memory is recorded here, we say it is minted and notarized. The clinic captures the feelings, the images, and the meanings in one flow. The record has a chain of custody so buyers know where it came from. Some people sell a licensed copy to stream and keep the original inside. Some sell the title outright and lose the living feeling that once warmed them. That decision is heavier than it looks on a receipt. Today, a carpenter arrived with hands that shook like leaves in wind. He carried debt and shame and a small photo in his wallet. He asked me the price of the first laugh of his daughter. He said the clinic could save her hearing if he paid by morning. He asked me if joy can be sold without breaking a heart. I told him the truth, that joy can be sold and hearts can be mended and changed. He decided to sell a licensed copy and keep the original in his mind. He will still feel the warmth when he looks at his child, and that matters. Someone across town will stream the laugh like music and feel hope. I do not call that theft, and I do not call it clean either. It is human and hard, and it keeps me humble every day. People come to my desk with wedding days, last sunsets, and hard lessons. They come with failures they want to study and loves they cannot carry. They come with victories that scare them because every high asks for a height tax. We measure value with 3 simple factors that most people accept. We look at intensity, rarity, and transfer shape, which is how well it shares. A routine breakfast is cheap because it travels poorly and feels thin to strangers. A once-in-a-lifetime climb or reunion travels well and keeps color. We also track age window because some memories ripen and some spoil. A small failure from youth can become a wise lesson later in life. A short thrill can fade fast and leave only glitter on the floor. I wish you could sit with me for a day and watch the small acts of courage. A woman sells the echo of a song so she can buy raw silence for sleep. A chef buys the memory of a spice market to find a new menu. A teacher rents a study habit package to help a class of lost boys. A couple shares a joint memory with a license that splits if they split. The law calls that a partition treaty, and it gets messy when love ends. I often act like a counselor who can only touch paper and tone. I have learned that paper and tone still matter when tears start. We also have a risk business, because life is a river with rocks. People insure key memories the way they insure teeth or a violin. If an injury or illness hurts, recall the insurer pays to restore with a copy. A copy feels thinner, but it keeps shape, and that can save a life story. Courts also use memory records when witnesses are tired or afraid. A judge can order a playback in a safe room with a soft chair. The court watches the provenance ledger and checks for redaction masks. Redaction hides faces and places when privacy is more important than proof. There is a black market where redactions leak like dye in water. The worst traders splice many donors and sell a fake that feels real. We call that memory laundering, and it grows where shame grows. People want beauty without paying a fair price, and they cut corners. My work is to say no and to keep saying no until the no holds. I should admit that not all buyers chase beauty. Some chase grit to gain courage for a surgery or a trial. Some chase focus to finish a project that scares them to the bone. Some chase steady love to remember how to speak softly again. I do not judge the chase because I cannot see any person from the outside. I only ask clear consent, clean records, and honest aims. Now, let me tell you why I am writing to you tonight with care. I opened a parcel that had no return mark and a scent like rain. Inside was a memory that felt like a summer near water. There was a red kite in a sky that looked bright and thin. A child ran with bare feet, and a dog barked once far away. A woman turned and laughed, and I could feel sand on my teeth. The provenance hash said the owner was you from a registry I can read. The timestamp was not from the past, and not from the present either. It was from a date that sits in your future like a seed in soil. That should be impossible, because we do not record tomorrow here. We only record what has happened and what someone has truly lived. I checked the chain 3 times and it did not bend or blur. Someone in my market has started selling futures on memory. They sell the right to own a future memory if and when it happens. If it does not happen, they owe a synthetic equivalent with the same meaning. A synthetic equivalent is polite, but it is a thief in a clean suit. It fills the place with light but not with warmth, and it confuses the heart. I searched deeper and found a hedge contract that mentions your family name. It is from decades ago, and it is tied to a debt and a promise. The promise says that your most defining day will settle what they could not pay. The contract calls that day the anchor moment, which is a cruel phrase. The anchor is supposed to ground a life, not pull it underwater. I am writing because I think I can stop the pull if I move fast. The law here allows a contract to be void if it was signed without true context. True context means the signer knew the weight, the scope, and the second-order harms. I do not think they knew any of that, and I think fear guided their hand. Still, the court will ask for proof, and proof is heavy when time is involved. There is another way that is not pretty, but it is honest in a hard way. If we can shape the real conditions that let your future memory happen by itself, then no one can replace it. The synthetic will fail the similarity test, and the contract will collapse on its own. I can nudge paths by buying the right lessons and returning them at the right time. I can also block a few harmful trades that would push you off course. I cannot and will not control you because that is a road with no light. I can only remove fog and add street lamps so you see your own turn. I wonder how that sounds to you far away and near in spirit. You may ask if a life is still yours when other people sold parts of it long ago. My answer is soft and simple, and I believe it with my whole voice. A life is the pattern that grows when a person chooses and learns and repairs. A pattern can hold even if one tile is replaced as long as the hands are honest. I learnt this late and it cost me, and I will tell you why. When I was young and broke, I sold the sound of my mother saying my name. I kept photos and letters, but I lost the living tone that rose at dawn. I speak clearly at work and I close deals, but I am hollow where that note was. That hollow keeps me kind, or I hope it does, and I let it guide me. I do not want you to carry a hollow that someone else ordered for profit. I want you to keep your anchor and grow the rest around it with care. There is a place in my city that I visit when I need to remember why I fight. It is called the Archive of Echoes, and it sits by an old canal. People who sold full title can come and listen to a soft playback. They do not receive the feeling back, but the room lets them sit with the shape. The room is quiet like winter and warm like soup on a small stove. I sit there and hear strangers laugh, and I feel a duty that does not fade. The staff keep tea on a table and a notebook for people who want to write. Many notes say the same thing in different plain words. We are still here, and we are still us, and we are learning how to be new. That sentence feeds me more than money or praise or clean ledgers. I have a plan that needs 3 honest steps, and I will tell you now. First, I will petition the court to freeze all trades that touch your anchor. I will argue that the provenance chain conflicts with natural time order. I will bring expert witnesses who know ledger math and human grief. Second, I will track the desk that wrote the hedge and the clerk who stamped it. I will follow the money and publish each step so the market watches. Shame can be a light when the powerful fear daylight more than fines. Third, I will place key lessons in your path without naming myself. A lesson might be a memory of a steady hand during a small storm. Another might be a memory of losing and breathing and trying again soberly. A third might be a memory of speaking gently to someone who is not gentle. These will be rentals that expire after they help you build your own. That way your mind stays yours and you grow roots instead of wires. You may ask if this interferes with fate, and I will answer with care. I do not believe in fate as a single rope that drags us along. I believe in many threads that we braid with others every day. We can choose a tighter weave without choosing the whole pattern in advance. You may also ask why people buy joy instead of making it from scratch. I think the short answer is time and fear and hunger for a clear path. Some people never learn to cook joy, and they buy a meal to learn the taste. If the seller is honest, the buyer can learn and then cook on their own. If the seller is greedy, the buyer grows dependent and small. So I try to be a seller who teaches people to leave my shop. I try to be the kind of broker who celebrates a quiet refund line. Today, young doctor returned a rented memory of a marathon. They said they used it to feel grit during their first night in the trauma ward. They said they can run without the rental now, and I smiled for an hour. Not all days are noble, and some are common and tiring. I fill forms and review audits and sweep crumbs by my keyboard. I still think of you during the crumbs, because you keep my hope clean. You live in a place where memories are free and unpriced and wild. You prove that value can exist without a number, and that comforts me. You also live with risks that my people outsource to paper and stamps. Your world trusts love to hold itself together, and that is strong. My world trusts contracts to hold the edges, and that keeps some people safe too. I do not think one world is better, because better is a word that begs for context. I think we are cousins who can swap wisdom without shame. I hope my letter feels like a cup of water passed over a short fence. I also hope it gives you questions that will not leave you alone too fast. Here is a small exercise that my clients practice when they feel lost. They pick a small memory that is free, and they name every detail slowly. They speak the color, the texture, the smell, and the sound in plain words. Then, they tell themselves which part they would never sell at any price. They breathe and stand and call someone they trust, and make tea. That simple list grows roots in the mind and fights fear like sunlight. You can try it tonight and it will not cost anything at all. I once listed that first tea after a hard talk, and I wrote warm steam first. I wrote chipped cup second and friend who stayed third and safe light last. I kept that small set, and it held me steady during a storm at work. That is why I am not ashamed to run a shop that deals in joy. Joy is not a rare flower for me, it is a skill that we practice. Sorrow is also a skill that deserves patience and clean kitchens. We store sorrow on the top shelf, and we reach for it when we teach. A person who denies sorrow cannot sell joy with a straight face. You now know my secret, which is not thrilling, but it is true. I am not a genius of mind science, and I am a clerk with stubborn care. I can spot a forged ledger, because I have stared at 1,000 clean ones. I can feel when a client lies because I have lied to myself and learnt the taste. I can help you without turning you into a client, and I prefer that. If the court asks for your voice, we will give them a steady statement. We will say that you did not consent to be collateral for a stranger. We will say that a future cannot be sold by someone who cannot live inside it. We will say, a person is not a bond and a life is not a coupon. We will say it with simple words because simple words carry farther. If the court refuses, we will still be ready with the other road. We will plant real conditions for your anchor to grow on its own time. We will invite true chance like a good guest, and not force a single line. I will send you nothing that binds you, and I will send only choices. You can ignore every offer and I will still fight the ring that wrote the hedge. I owe that to the girl who lost her mother's tone because I sold it. I owe that to every person who learned to be new without losing their name. A city grows by the promises it keeps and by the lies it refuses to adopt. Tonight I walked by the canal and counted the lamps one by one. I saw my reflection and it looked older and kinder than last year. I took that as a sign that my work is shaping me instead of burning me. I would like your world to shape you and not burn you as well. Please, keep your happiest day and also your hardest lesson. Keep the first time you forgave someone and the first time you forgave yourself. Keep the day you chose to start again, even if the start was small. If anyone tries to price those days, you will know the numbers are wrong. You can send me a note if you want to share what you kept. I will read it at my desk with the dim lamp and the quiet clock. I will make tea, and I will thank the space between our worlds. That space is not empty, and it is a bridge that we use with care. I want to tell you one more short story before I close this letter. A man came in with a box of ticket stubs and a soft voice. He said he wanted to sell the memory of a small concert in a basement. He said the band was not famous and the sound was not clean. He said he felt like a new person during one simple chord near the end. I told him the truth that someone would buy that chord for the same reason. He asked if he should keep it, and I asked him one question. Would you trust this memory to hold your hand when your next winter comes? He kept it and he cried and he laughed and he left lighter. I think of him when I think of you, and I hope you keep what holds you. I hope you keep the memory that will carry you across your next winter. If the ring that sold futures comes after you, they will find me first. I will not hide and I will not trade your anchor for my ease. I will block the desk that feeds them and cut the wire they chew on. I will keep writing as long as writing helps, and I will stop when silence helps more. You deserve a quiet room inside your own mind, and I will defend that room. I will go to court and to clinics and to cold offices with long halls. I will knock on doors that pretend not to open for people like me. I will push paper until the paper turns into clear water. I will not call myself brave because brave is a word for big things. I will call myself persistent because persistence makes big things possible. Please, rest tonight knowing that someone is doing boring work for your sake. Please, wake tomorrow and do one small good thing that no one sees. These two acts grow a safe city faster than any speech from a high window. You and I are strangers who write to each other, and we are family in a clean way. We are family because we share a respect for what should not be priced. We are family because we both believe in learning that lasts longer than fashion. I am grateful for that, and I honor it with steady sentences. I will stop soon, because letters should end while they still shine. I feel calm now, and the lamp is low, and the clock is kind. I can hear rain start on the window, and it is soft and even. I think this is a good sign for both of us. It means tomorrow will be new and clear and not dramatic. It means your anchor has good weather over it for a while. I will use that weather to pull one more record and make one more call. Then, I will go to the archive of echoes and leave a note for you. The note will say the same sentence that fed me when I needed it. We are still here, and we are still us, and we are learning how to be new. I will place the note in the spine of a book near the tea table. If you ever visit, you will know where to look. You will know, because the water will sound like a friend whispering your name. I want to thank you for reading this far across a quiet bridge. Your patience is a kind of currency that grows when it is spent. I hope I paid you back with clarity and care and a few good tools. I hope I gave you questions that love you instead of questions that bite. I hope you keep your anchor and learn to braid the rest with steady hands. I am closing now with a line that belongs to both our worlds. Your friend in the world next to yours, I send you my warm regards. Thank you for listening to my letter until the end. Please like this video if it helped you, and please subscribe for more letters. Leave a comment with one small memory you plan to keep and tell me why it matters. If you wish to support the channel, please use the QR code on the screen or the link in the description. In the description you will also find links to other works from completely different series. Take care until we meet again, and please come back for the next story.